How might you interpret something while reading? I will demonstrate a literary theory through a book. And the literary theory that I am going to go over is reader's response. What is reader's response, you may ask? Reader's response is through a reader's reaction or interpretation of a text. And the book that I am going to do this theory about is through Mermaid Mysteries. And as of October 2025, I have published this book and it is available on Amazon. So check that out following this lecture. So I am going to do it in two different sections, reading through early drafts and reading through proofreads of my book, Mermaid Mysteries. So we're going to begin with number 1, rookie mistakes. So Mermaid Mysteries began as a dream, and that dream turned into a script that I thought of as the next big thing, the summer blockbuster movie of the year. And then eventually I came to the realization that I wanted to write a book. And that's how Mermaid Mysteries came to be, as a book being published. And it took me 2 months to actually finish that very first book. However, whenever I was reading through that first draft, there were plenty of mistakes. And mind me, this was 2022. So April 2022, whenever I was reading this, I was like, I wrote this? Whoa, whoa, there's a lot that I did. And wow, is this really what happens throughout the writing process? And one of my mistakes was obviously reading it as soon as it's finished, instead of giving it the breathing room that the book needs. So when I finally, it took me actually a few weeks to realize that, when I finally gave myself time to give the book some space, I went back, read it, and found, some more mistakes, of course. But it's okay. It's all a learning experience. But as I was, going through these rookie mistakes as a beginning writer, one of the biggest conflicts about the book, revising and editing the book actually, was the beginning. So the countless times that I read Mermaid Mysteries, I could not get through the first chapter. It was necessary for the events that occur. And the first chapter that you are reading today, that exists, was not the original. I actually changed it a few times. So the first version of it was so unbearable that I could barely get to the next chapter. And I asked myself, if I cannot get through the first chapter, how can anyone else do it? And that was really a struggle. And in my sophomore year, whenever I was revising and editing Mermaid Mysteries, particularly the beginning of the story, I was stuck on that first chapter because I wanted to make that an impact. I wanted to go boom, so the readers can keep going until the very last page. And whenever I changed it the first time, it was better, but it was still missing something. And I didn't know what I was missing. And it wasn't until January 2023 when I was talking to my friend from English class. That day, my English teacher wasn't there. And I was talking to my friend all about my book, Mermaid Mysteries, and then I found out that there were other things that was kind of lacking, like the villain, or even the beginning, like I said. And January 30th, same year, 2023, I literally rewrote the entire first chapter. And once I did that, reread it, I was like, wow, now I can get to chapter 2. Now I can move forward into what is next. And this leads to my third thing that I was going through the early drafts, which was the bigger picture. I lacked the bigger picture of what Mermaid Mysteries was all about. I was going in there like, I really want to tell the story. I know what's going to be in there. Now I just got to put it on the page. What I didn't see at first was the overlying themes that played throughout the Mermaid Mysteries series. Because here's the thing, I knew it was going to be a trilogy from day one. I knew what was going to happen, what the characters were going to do, everything. I didn't have to outline that out. That was all in my head. But I had to put it on the page. But understanding the bigger picture of what you create or what story you tell, what is it that you want someone to take away? And that is something I didn't have at the time reading the early drafts. Even though I was like a beginning writer. And over time, as you have more experience with writing, or just in general, as you like interact with people and the more you do it, the more that you expose yourself to the bigger picture. This is the perfect transition into reading through the proofreads of my book, Mermaid Mysteries. So this is my first ever proof book of Mermaid Mysteries with the ugly Amazon little gray line. But I was very excited of reading it because I get to read this book firsthand in my hand and look through what was going on. So number one, okay, something that I hate, but I couldn't help myself to do in my own book, annotations. So whenever I was annotating my book in this proofreading book, I was like, okay, let me take note of what I noticed, any errors that I need to do last minute before, officially publish. Some things that really stand out to me, like I'll write that down. I'll literally write that down in the book. I literally wrote it down in the book. And there are some things like character descriptions. I was like, yeah, yeppers, and other things. And it was like every few pages or so as well. It wasn't until chapter 7, actually, that I began going into a deeper analysis into the book. And also, I just found some interesting things in there as well. My favorite paragraph is actually, one of my favorite paragraphs is located in page 49. And as I kept on going, I was actually putting myself inside the book and inside the character's shoes. And better yet, I just had so much to say that it couldn't all fit in the page. That's okay. It's okay. Because that led to number 2, open-ended questions. As I was reading Mermaid Mysteries, I was questioning myself about certain things, not grammatically and how the book is executed on the page. I was thinking more of the story as a whole. Why are the characters doing this? Why does this matter? How does this event that was caused last throughout this certain amount of time throughout the book? I was asking myself these questions to keep in the back of my head and to keep a conversation going. And to this day, I still have that. I literally still have that. And each time I read Mermaid Mysteries, it's opening up new perspectives within me. And I'm thinking more objectively unlike what I did with the earlier drafts. But this is a perfect transition into the unconscious analogies and references. So, as I was reading Mermaid Mysteries through this physical copy book, I was like finding some things that I was like, wait, did I put that? A great example is actually in page 49. I was noticing these things, words like jealous and anger, and that took me back to a YouTube video that I watched about the 7 deadly sins. And also, not long after that, I actually read in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, about the deadly sins. And I took note of that. And I was trying to pay attention for some more references that sprinkled into the book when I first wrote it. And I discovered that multiple characters actually had a certain deadly sin. And I literally wrote on a separate piece of paper, 7 deadly sins. Who possessed it? The best? I guess. But I did a turnaround and about the fruits of the Spirit. And which character demonstrated the fruits of the Spirit the best? And that just opened my mind to so many things. And what more will I discover in the future books? And one of my favorite pages, page 72, that is located in chapter 10, this character is literally the definition of love. And on the bottom of the page, this is what I annotated. So this character demonstrates love, even at times that seem so hard to love. And the second book goes much deeper into it and that exploration. And so the character pretty much in the first book, love. Second book, this character is conflicted and battling out what love is and what love is to others as well. And unconsciously, I unlocked something that I did not discover when I first began writing and telling stories. Whenever you are doing stories, just as general, there's just so much. There's so much that you can discover. There's so much potential into theorizing and responding to what you read, what you speak about, what you learn. And throughout my experience of the literary theories, the reader's response, I was able to interpret things through Mermaid Mysteries that I never seen before. And I hope that you can do the same and interpret something that brings meaning.